Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
I'm Mac.
And I'm Pepper.
and we're back with our top 70 favorite board games of all time, 60 through 51. So we've already done the first 10, so you can go back and check out that video if you haven't already. And there's also a giveaway going on alongside this. You can check out that video as well. Should all be linked below, I believe. If it is not, leave a comment below and let Pepper know, and he'll get it down there. But yeah, I don't know how many new games we had last list. I should take a look at my list this time. How many are going to be brand new to my list? I see at least 4.
Oh, wow. Wow. What do I have? I don't know. I don't think I have any brand new games on this section for myself. So, at least not new to us. They might be new to the list. Maybe they did just barely sneaking on now, but they're not new games. And I'm not cult of the new like some of these people.
Okay. I think I have a couple new ones. Well, one new to the list.
No?
Because I think I accidentally forgot last year.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Well, we're going to find that out. We've got some. Well, I've got a couple shocking ones maybe.
Okay. I
So-
thought you were gonna say you got shenanigans going on. And I'm like,
Oh, there's no
Oh,
shenanigans.
oh.
This is the list.
am I starting us off again, Jesse?
yes, you are. Also, before we start, you thought you forgot a game last week or last episode. Did
Yeah.
you factor that in there? Because I was looking at your sheet and it was in there, and I didn't know what
Yeah.
to do.
I didn't. I just left it, and as a reminder for next year, I've only played it a few times, so I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Good, because I did not put it in. So happy to hear you did not adjust it.
Wow. So if any of these are wrong, everyone, Pepper's the one that put this slide together. He's the only one that kind of has an idea of what we all have. The rest of us do not know anything.
Yes, lead us off.
All right, my number 60 was 56 last year, so just went up a little bit. We haven't played it in a while, and that's probably just why. And surprisingly, this game is actually better at a higher player count. That's probably the other factors. We don't have our built-in third gamer around recently, so Euphoria is my number 60. Really enjoy this game. I think it's unique in that you're trying to use dice and cards, tracks to kind of get what you want. It's a little bit of a race game. So I think it is better at higher player counts. And there can be, I think, a little bit of like gaming the game to it, but I think it's overall kind of a unique and fun, interesting play. So Euphoria.
I think it was one of the first ones that had like the bumping mechanism in it, at least for Stonemaier games. And I don't know if any games had it before that, but
yeah,
I know that was like the earliest that they had used it.
yeah. This one is, I feel, a pretty underrated game. It's a good game. I know Stonemaier has a lot of big hits, and this is one of the lesser ones, but I think it's a little overlooked. If I've played this one more, it could have made my list.
Yeah, I feel like the thing that it probably is lacking for me is just the kind of race element to it. I think if we were like doing something to score our points instead, and then just like had so many rounds or something somehow, doesn't really work that way in the game because it's kind of just keeping it going. But I think if there's just kind of an end game score as opposed to try to get your 10 stars or whatever off, I think I'd probably enjoy it more.
Yeah.
So I like what's going on. I think it's just that race element that hurts it for me a little.
Jamie likes his stars.
He
Coming off.
does. My number 60 has dropped a bit over the years. I know that. I don't know the exact numbers at this moment, but it's a game which I don't think it's dropped because of the same reason that it dropped for you, being a legacy game. And then obviously post-legacy, things tend to drop. I don't think that has affected it for me because I still love base Clank. And this Clank Catacombs fits better. A square fits better than the legacy long picture here, so I chose this cover. But it's mostly the legacy version, and even just the base game of legacy post campaign playing that would make this list. Actually, was maybe a little disappointed with Catacombs. I was hoping that would just like really shake it up much, but I mean, it's probably better that it doesn't like completely change the game, but just didn't feel like it did too much different, at least in that one play that I had. But the core system of deck building in this, just being able to do so many different things that affects your movement and your combat and your money, it just blends perfectly. There's no disconnect with the mechanism and the theme. Like Dominion, it's like, what even is this? This is no theme. This one is just so fun. A lot of stand-up moments in it as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick. And yeah, the Legacy, I think Clank in general, I think it made it up into my list again last year, and then I think it fell back off. But yeah, it's a solid system, and I'm sure after, I think Clank Legacy 2 should be coming sometime by the end of this year. So I'm guessing we'll see a resurgence on my list of the. I mean, it'll probably technically be the Clank Legacy 2, but the Clank system, I'm assuming, will make it back on my list next year.
Good pick, Jesse.
Then me, we got 60, and this one has dropped pretty significantly on my list. Pepper probably despises me for putting it this low, and he probably wonders why I do. But this is a big game, pretty big game, and it is Dwellings of Eldervale. So yeah, this one was pretty high at one point. You can see it got all the way up to number 2, and then it's slowly fallen. I mean, it's the same, 14 to 15. I mean, with new games coming in, that's not really much of a change. And then it's a pretty significant drop, but
Yeah,
it's been a while. Been a while since I played it. Played a little bit, I think,
We
but
played it last Christmas.
that's true. And it was definitely a good play. That's probably actually it could have saved it from falling off the list, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I when I do get it back to the table, I always love it. So it's just the lack of plays, and then I don't know. There's just some of these other games that I've maybe played more recently, or just wanted to get to the table, so it's just kind of fallen below those. But I still really enjoy putting worker, kind of a sort of worker placement style game, but then you're also dwelling them onto spots to try to get end game scoring and stuff. And then you've got kind of the dice system, combat system is pretty cool, where you always kind of have a chance. I really like that in the game, where you might be rolling against something really powerful, but if you get lucky, you can still win with just like one die. So I really love that combat system. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is a good one.
And we'll see if there's different space version of this or similar. I don't know if it's a version of it technically, but from the same designer and Luke Laurie, that may be coming this year. So we'll see how that goes too. That replaces it.
Funny, I remember when you got this one, it was like all the hype. You guys are so excited, and now look how deep we're into this hobby. Got a YouTube channel and everything.
Wow. I'm shocked it's been that many years that we've had it. It seems still very new.
It's there from the start. Wow.
One of the very first. All right. Well, mine didn't make that significant of a drop, but my 59 did drop a little bit from 44 last year, and that is Pulsar 2849. I feel like I'm like the only one who stands this game in our little group, but you know what? I'll do it. So I think it just dropped because when I was looking at these, it was like, which games do I most want to get to the table? And I just had other games that I wanted in front of that. And I feel like there are two things on this game that kind of hold me back. And that is just that I feel like there is one pathway to victory usually. Like there's one like always route to go. And then there's kind of this other side piece, I don't know what you'd call it, that doesn't really get used all that often. So there's those two pieces. But with that being said, I still love the game, and it's so much fun to shoot your spaceships around. I love the dice picking mechanism. And I think it's just really overall just a fun, kind of like unique. I love the pieces, the little plastic things about it. And so I really like the space theme of it, and I think it works really well. So I am looking forward to getting this back to the table at some point. So also.
Yeah, that's a good one. I enjoyed my plays of it, but don't have that many of them. I do wonder what our list would be if we played every game the same amount of times. How much that would change a game.
It would probably change it pretty significantly. 'Cause, yeah, I like a lot about this one too, but yeah, I think there's parts of the game that we haven't probably explored as much. Like most Vladimir Sushi games, it's a little bit on the heavier side, and I think that sometimes there are things in those types of games that it's like, oh, I'm a little bit scared to do that because it seems like, oh, I'm gonna have to play things perfectly then.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I like this one as well. I should really get this one to the table more and maybe make my list as well.
My 59, I think I've said it about every time I've talked about it. It's been the biggest roller coaster of a game for me. Have you guys caught on? Do you know what that even means? Where I didn't like it, loved it, didn't like it, liked it a lot. It is viticulture.
I was gonna say viticulture, but I didn't want to spoil it in case there were two.
Oh, that's true. That is true. Good thought.
I thought he was going to say King Domino. I don't know why.
Ooh, that one has had a change. I'm sure someone will talk about it, and I'll mention it then. Um, but viticulture, when we first played it, we played it wrong. We were paying twice the amount of grapes, so it just was a horrible first play. It was still cool because it's fun to. It's a farming game. It's the most kind of thematic farming game feel that we have, I think, in our collection, and that's really cool. It has awesome pieces, as you can see here, a bunch of great artwork and wooden meeples of all different shapes and sizes. And but we played it by the right rules, and it skyrocketed up my list, as you can see. Not making the list the first 2 years. I thought it made it the second year, but I guess not. And then I had a horrible solo play where you're just trying. I got like 5 points total in the entire game, and I just couldn't get the right colored grapes. So then it dropped down, and then we got Tuscany, and it was already on the downward spiral, so that did not help. But I've gotten past those terrible nightmarish games, and now it's settled down. Not favorite game, but a solid one. One of the favorites.
I think you're one of the few people that think the Tuscany expansion didn't make
Overrated.
You are wrong, sir.
I like that OG board.
You don't
Two
deserve a Papa.
seasons.
no Papa Grande for you.
No, Papa Grande.
That's a good pick. We may be seeing it again later.
I know. You guys broke my heart by making us start to play Viticulture World and then like didn't follow through. And I think we did like 3 plays.
I'm the one that's wanted to play that a million times,
You're
and
the
no one
one who-
wants to play it.
You're
I
the one
do
who.
want to play it, but then you wanted to play 85 other Legacy games, so I was like,
That's not a legacy game. That's just a campaign.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not getting
whatever.
played. You're the one who hates co-op, man.
you just had to play Max versus Minions. Let's see if that lands on the top 70.
We will see.
Can't edit it now, does he?
But we'll stick with the worker placement style games and maybe a roller coaster as well. I do not remember if this has been on my list before or not, but I know it's kind of been one that I've always kind of championed, but I may not have been as in love with at certain moments. But it is Lords of Waterdeep.
Hmm.
Ooh, yes. So this one, it did used to be on your list. I was surprised to see those numbers and see this come back.
Yeah, I did. I didn't think it was that high on my list before, but I didn't remember exactly how it had gone. But no, I think it's just one of those that every time I do get a chance to play it, I think I've played it once or twice this year. It just kind of makes a little bit of a resurgence because I mean, it's pretty simple worker placement. I don't know that there's anything like too groundbreaking about the worker placement part of things, but just I always love having, the extra locations coming out that you can someone will own, and then you'll be able to go on those locations. And then I think recently your brother so we don't own this game, but your brother does, and he got the expansions to it, and that just adds a few more levels. I think there's I don't remember what it's curse. I don't remember what it's called. Corruption, I think, or something that you can take. And one time I thought I could just take as much as I wanted and see what would happen. That wasn't the best best thing to do, but I think I was able to manage it a lot better the next time, and yeah, it just added even more to the fun, I thought. And it's crazy that it comes from the Dungeons and Dragons, and it's such a solid game.
Yeah.
I know Pepper's not as big a fan.
It's a game.
Ah, it's fine. I might play it,
You
but
guys
if
are
you
so
guys
wrong.
have too many players, then I'm fine sitting this one out. I don't know. It is good. I think I just get hung up in that bottom piece where you can buy buildings, and it's like I feel like people typically are really well positioned for that. That if you can't get a good building, it's just like over.
My gosh, how can you say that, Mac? In the first year, this is your 49. High up
Well,
there.
it's nowhere to be found now.
Wow.
Rip.
No,
Nice.
hey, these guys are wrong. It's a great game.
It
If
is.
you like worker placement games, you like some of them that aren't too complicated, this is a great one. Especially if you like the D&D thing.
Yeah, there are good elements to it. I'll give you that. So, all right, my number 58 is brand new to the list, and I think pretty much brand new last time we had done our list. So, and what's actually funny about this is that I think we were at Gen Con and we saw it, and you mentioned it to me, and I was like, nah, that doesn't look good at all. I don't want to. No, thanks. Bye-bye. And then I played it at home and I was like, actually, this is kind of cool because I thought it was heavier than it was, to be honest. And so Sunrise Lane made its way.
And who was the one who said, "Yeah, guys, get this game"?
Yeah. Well, okay.
You
We'll
are
allow it.
very welcome, Michaela.
Yes, because this probably isn't my best game from Gen Con, but probably towards the top. So good job, Jesse. Good call. Good call.
The good one.
Um,
It's a good one.
so this game, you are grabbing cards with different colored building or different lots, I think technically is what they are. And then you discard cards from your hand to build buildings on the lot. How many up you go, how many cards do you have and how many up you go? I can't remember what the situation is. How high do you have to go?
Hmm?
How do you get
You
two
can
buildings?
on top of each other?
Yeah.
You'd need two of the same color card.
Okay. Got you. And then it's the 5 and stuff is just a score. That's right. That always throws me. I always
So
have
you
to
multiply
remember.
it by
Yep.
and then you can kind of do the path as you go as well.
Yeah. And they have different quadrants. So tall buildings will score in one quadrant, and then I think connected buildings will score in the other, or most in that section. So it's actually pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and I've actually had a lot of fun trying to figure this one out. So Sunrise Lane.
The good one. Ryan Knizia is back.
It is quite simple, very simple. It's a great lightweight game, family weight game.
Yeah, if we did introductory games, this would be on my list.
Mhm.
My,
Good choice.
my 58 is a verb and verb game. What is this? This is a roll and write, just a classic roll and write, and then erase, and then write again, and erase and write again. It's you're constantly trying to keep going and reset, and that is Super Skill Pinball 4K. I don't play pinball, but this feels like what I'd imagine pinball would feel like. Just trying to survive, trying to last as long as possible, hitting it off of all different kinds of things. The bumpers, and once you fill them up, they reset. You can just keep going forever. So you could score infinity if you really got lucky, quite lucky, I would say. I'm not that lucky, but the possibility for that is just fun. It's kind of like a shoot the moon type of feel, just something unique that's not in most games. And there's 4 different maps. I think I played 3 of them, or at least 2 of them. I haven't gotten around to playing all of them, but I think my favorite is this Cyber Hack. It's got a little mini game. Every one of the maps has kind of a special, unique twist to it, and they've felt unique so far. It's dropped a little bit. I don't think I've played it that much in the last year, but I'm guessing if I did play it even once, could shoot up a couple spots.
But bounce back up.
Funny.
Like a
Paddle
pinball.
right back.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even like real pinball. He just likes board game pinball.
I don't know if he's tried. He'd probably like real pinball. But yeah, the one time I tried this, it was a good amount of. I think if I played this more, this one could be potentially on the bottom half.
Brutal.
But yeah, my number 58 was brand new to the list, new to me. It is a crossover from the last 10 that we did with Pepper. It's a game on Board Game Arena, and it is River of Gold. Actually, a game that I got the physical copy of after I think we only played it once. I just really, really enjoyed what it did, where you're going around a river with the die, and you're landing and getting all these great bits. It's really, really juicy.
After one playthrough, you bought the physical copy?
It was that good. It's that good. Ask Pepper.
It's on both
He
of our
doesn't like
top
games.
70 lists.
Amazing.
He doesn't like learning these kind of Euro style games. And he knew he was wrong. He was like, Zach, you were right.
This game
This is great.
did a superhero, a Thor entering Wakanda entrance into our lives.
That is exactly what it did.
I'm surprised it's not number one then, because that is the equivalent
That's
of what
true. That is pretty epic.
We'll play it
No,
again
yeah.
and just hate it, and it'll just go away.
Right. But yeah, no, you're trying to also like purchase. You can see the person placing a ownership chip there onto that tile that they've bought. Then whenever someone lands there, they will also get the bonus on the outside. So whoever's building these things also is getting benefits from you landing on it. So it's just a ton of stuff being handed out. It's just a lot of fun. And just the way the river works, where you're kind of going, trying to get to the bottom, and then you like get some things from that as well, and then go back to the top. I think that just works really well. It's not like, oh, once you get to the river, it ends around, and then everyone does something and starts over or something. I just like that it's kind of a continuous thing. I don't know that I've seen that too much in games. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I'll have to get to the table at some point. See if I can put it on my top 80 next year.
Well, we'll see if it enters Wakanda.
Oh. All right. My number 57 was 59 last year. So a little bit of an uptick on this one. I am still trying to figure this game out. Not that it's overly complicated, but trying to figure out like the best way to play this game, and that is Castles of Burgundy. What? Why are you looking at me
Nothing?
like that?
Nothing?
Zach's like, this should be so much higher. I'm so disappointed. But I'm still just trying to figure this game out. Okay, there's an optimal way to play this game, and I have not gotten it yet. I'm coming real close on the few playthroughs I've gotten to do, and we haven't had it table in a while. So, I do want to play this more and work on it. I haven't even started playing with like the different boards that you can get and stuff. So, lots to do with this game. Lots to do with this game still.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think the deluxe version
Didn't hurt at all. No.
didn't hurt it. I kind of wonder what you would have thought if the first time you experienced it was with the old version of it, normal version, original. I don't know.
I'm not
That
big,
definitely adds something to it. I will admit.
yeah. I'm not big on using like extra money on like just pretty parts that serve no real purpose other than like placeholders. But I have seen the original, and I was like, all right, I'm not upset that he got the upgraded version.
Yeah, even just I feel like the artwork alone is a pretty good upgrade.
Yeah. And this, I tried to get pictures. It's hard to get pictures of, which is so many different ways that you can customize it, what you back and how deluxe you want it. Got it about as close as I can get it with these pictures, but you could even go super upgraded with 3D tiles with not actual cows, but little miniature cows.
Right. Yeah, I think I could
be a
have
little
spent another 100 to 200. So
Crazy.
yeah, I don't think it
No,
needed to be that far upgraded, but
should be
it is cool
proud
just
that
having.
he
Sorry,
only spent $300.
Wow. It was not that much.
Yeah.
My 57 was once my number one game of all time.
My goodness.
It was my first ever
Just last
favorite game. It's not on this list. It was one before we ever did these lists, and it's Carcassonne. But on this list, it was 8, it was 10, it was 28, and now it's dropped significantly. I was going to say we haven't really played it in a while. We've been waiting to get those expansions, but we did play the Mists Over Carcassonne cooperative version. We played that quite a bit around Christmas. So I don't know why this is dropping.
So
Just a
glad we
lot
have
more.
85 expansions for this one now.
Yeah.
No one likes it.
Once
I
we
like
play
it.
those, it's gonna shoot back up. It's gonna be a top 20 game. I
All right.
guarantee it. For you too.
Oh,
You're gonna be
that's
involved in these games.
bold.
But yeah, this is a great game. It's pick a tile, place a tile. It's so fun building out the landscape, and fun for me to sneak into everyone's castles and roads and anything that they're getting big points from, try to steal it. It's just perfect for that kind of brain, which I don't think you have that kind of brain. So playing against both of us, it's not fun for you, Mac.
No, I'm not evil. I'm not a psychopath. So it's like, I just can't compete.
Wow. No, this is a great pick, Pepper. I think this one's been off my list for a while, and it really should be on my list. I think it is just one of those that doesn't get played.
It's not on your list at all.
I don't think so. I don't think it's been on my list for a couple of years.
Oh my.
Wow. That's crazy.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
36 your first list, 50 your second, and I believe it was off the list last year.
Wow.
That's so. But yeah, it almost made it back on this year because we did play it Mists Over Carcassonne, and it reminded me of how much I love Carcassonne. It's just a great game. And yeah, I'm sure if we did play it a lot more with all those expansions, make its way back on the list. It's just a lot of fun. And I think Mists Over Carcassonne was one that we played the most when we were there. We had to have played
Yeah.
like 12 games of it
Yeah.
almost.
It was,
It was a good time.
it was, and it really rewards sneaking into each other's castles.
Wow.
A good pick. Oh boy, 57. This was also at the top of Pepper's list at one point. I don't know if it's number one, but it was definitely there. And it was probably higher on my list. It might have been on my list all 3 years, or it might not have. I don't remember. This is one that's going to be in our tournament this year, and it is Bunny Kingdom.
This breaks my heart every year. It's not as high as I think it should be on your list.
Oh boy, it hung in there though. It didn't drop too far this year.
Just one spot.
And yeah, it might have dropped off if I hadn't recently played it a time or two on Board Game Arena. But yeah, that just reminded me, like, yeah, this one's a really solid game. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's something about the scoring that stops it from getting back up into that like top 20 area for me. If I don't know, it just, I think we've played it enough times where some people kind of do a parchment strategy potentially, and then it feels like, I don't know if just getting the spaces is as meaningful sometimes.
Yeah, there
Usually you need a mix.
definitely be luck in it as well. Just
Yeah.
you just get the right spots, and someone doesn't. Someone gets all the treasure. Can really swing a game.
Yeah, but it's still one that I'm always willing to play if people are excited or wanting to play it. It's one that I love getting back to. So it's a lot of great artwork too.
One of the OGs from the collection.
Yes, the top game. You'll probably be seeing it again later, I would guess.
All right. Well, my number 56 was 55 last year. So there's a fun little.
Well, mine went
Huge
56
drop.
to 57 for Bunny Kingdom. So, we're gonna keep this up. Pepper, you got the next one?
Yes, we all have to go down on their up one. I don't know what the wording is. So mine is Patchwork, which is cute as a button. Little polyomino game. Come on, that was good. A polyomino game where you are quilting a little blanket together, and buttons are your currency. So you're just trying to kind of get it filled up as quickly as you can, while going through, I don't know what you call it, that little patchwork board, that determines who gets to pick next on
Yeah.
the,
A time thing.
yeah.
What
So
is the time track? Is that what it's called?
Hmm.
Something like that.
we've had fun playing this game. I know I have at least. I think it's interesting. I've only ever played it with you, and I'm always just trying so hard to beat him at quilting, which is so funny because if this was real life quilting, I'm pretty sure I'd win hands down. But board game quilting is a little different. So, we play a lot of two players here because it's usually just two players, and so Patchwork has been a fun addition to our two-player set.
Feels
Maybe
like
your
it could. Feels like it could be more players, but
Yeah, it does feel like it could be. It's probably your favorite Uwe game.
I don't know which games are Ube's off the top of my head,
Maybe,
so could
maybe
be.
not. But yeah, I'm surprised they have done a lot of different additions for this one. They have been milking the cash cow. I am surprised then that I'm not aware anyway of them doing like a four-player version or even up to five or six because I feel like it could be done.
Hmm.
yeah, I
That
mean,
is interesting. Might change some things, but I feel like Uwe could figure it out.
yeah. I mean, he has about 50 other four-player polyomino games, so you think he could figure it out.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I like this
That
one.
one feels like it should be one of our original games. It should have been in the collection a lot earlier.
Yeah, I think it was surprisingly expensive though for what it is.
Oh yeah, Uwe, come on, man. I mean, imagine the four-player version. It'd be $100. My 56 is another one of our originals, OGs, classic games. And it's been on someone's list, I believe Zach's list in the previous section. And it is Ethnos. This one is probably all the same reasons that he mentioned. I'm not a big fan of area control games. This one doesn't feel like in those I'm just constantly like, oh, I'm gonna lose what I've got. I'm just everything's in flux. I'm gonna end up with 0 points. But this one, it has kind of two parts. You can focus just on getting a large set of cards to play, and you got those points locked in for the end of the game, or you can focus on really getting maybe a bunch of different spots on the map, but maybe not the top prize, or just go all in on some of those bigger point ones. And it's just always satisfying to me. I don't ever feel I'd win this maybe once ever, if ever. I know I had a long streak where I hadn't even won the game yet, and I still loved it. Still loved coming back to it. The variability of the factions, colorful pieces that don't match the game at all, but are awesome. It's a classic, and I don't know what happened here that it fell off the list. I must have just maybe not played it or something, but
Maybe
it's
that's
kind
when
of
you were
weird.
in your losing streak.
That could have been. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. And I won it once, and it shot up to 32.
I don't doubt it. That doesn't surprise me.
Sounds like Jesse.
Yeah, obviously a good pick, I think. So that was a solid one. It's a solid game, and I hope they get rid of the whatever one that they just made to redo it, and they come back to this and start making some more expansion content for it. More factions, more cards.
We just have to make
But
our own.
there we go. But yeah, we'll stick with games that we've had in the collection for a long time. This one has been quite a long time. And it is one where you're placing tiles and then set collecting. Uh, and then you get to the point in the game where you just gotta go and you gotta collect, collect, collect. And it is land. Yeah, this one's I thought it'd been kind of on my list. Not one that like has, as you can see, hasn't hit like my top game, but it is just one of them that's just like I gotta play this every now and then because it just is so satisfying. It's such a simple game. You're playing this tile out. It plays well at I think all the player counts. Because yeah, whatever that tile is facing, whichever part of the tile is facing you, you get that color card, and then whichever sides are facing your opponent, they'll get those. And if you get matches, you can get additional cards and some tokens sometimes. And then you're just kind of collecting sets of either one of each color, some pairs, um, or four of a kind, I think. And it just gets to this point in the game where it's like, oh gosh, I can't miss, or else if I don't score this, it's pretty much done. Because it seems like scores always come down to like 1 or 2 points most of the time, and it's a lot of fun. Feels like you're always in it.
Yeah, it's a good one. A great one.
Colorful. It's fun.
It's really colorful. I do like the artwork on this one a lot.
And our grandma even played it. I don't know if she enjoyed it, but she was able to play it. She's like, what are they playing?
She's never asked to play it again, so.
Peggy.
But yep, lanterns, solid choice.
All right, good pick, babe. My 55 was 54 last year, so we're continuing this little trend of a little hopping and skipping, and that is Flame, the chaotic trick-taking game that no one else likes but me, but it's fun. You have so much fun. And we have Claim 1 and Claim 2. And so you essentially have different factions that you play with, and the different factions have different card effects. So some cards might let you ignore certain ones, some interact specifically with gnomes, or vice versa. So there are some unique and fun things to this kind of quick little deck of cards.
I just found it funny that you specifically said interact with gnomes.
The giants interact with gnomes, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was just funny that you called that one out in particular.
Well, there's so many that
I know.
interact together, so it's hard for me to remember them all. But yeah. So essentially you are just trying to get as many points as you can and be kind of the winning person at the end of the game. And it has this really unique thing where the first part of the game is setting yourself up for the second half of the game. So trick taking, but also with a little bit of like a chaotic element to it of like, what I win now helps me later potentially, or doesn't help me. So I just like that element to it where it's not just you're getting points, it's not just winning the tricks impact how you play the second half of the game. So I think it's a unique little spin. I like traveling with it. It's a good one to have.
And then it turns into your favorite thing, majorities.
Yes. That one's a little hard because sometimes I cannot get the majority. And Zach's just like, and another one, and another one. And I'm like, all right, well, throw this game away because never playing that again. And then I think, I haven't played Flame in a while. It might be nice to play that one.
It's a good choice. Good pick.
Yeah,
No,
that has been your go-to travel game choice for a while. It was. It might still be.
Well, if it's in a box like this and you have like multiple sets and options for how to play the tricks. So, different setups.
It's a good one. My 55 is a 2-player only game. So I guess, yeah, we don't have a street. Patchwork was ages ago. Otherwise, we could have a thing going here. That is a tug of war game. Multiple tugs of war going on at once. It is Blitzkrieg. World War II in 20 minutes. This one is it's that. You're pulling tokens from your bags and playing them down in these different arenas to sway them in your favor, to either win them outright and get a bunch of bonuses, or just have it barely by the end of the game to win still some points. And I think you can, I haven't played it in a while. I think you can win by just getting to a certain amount of points during the game, or else I think it's just decided at the end who wins. Always looking to make a big move in this one, and bonuses printed on a bunch of the spots, so you can really chain together some cool things. The one we have includes the expansion, which has Godzilla in there, which is, you can see him there, pretty much just a 4-point tile, but it's always fun. I think I won a game with Godzilla, so it definitely lived up to the hype for me.
Yeah, that's a really good choice. I really like this one. This is one that I haven't played in a little bit either, but it's a really, really fun tug of war game where sometimes you think you've got it under control, and then all of a sudden your opponent pulls out something crazy, and you're like, yeah, that's like the one tile that they couldn't have. And they had it. So that brings up some fun moments, some disappointments, obviously, for the person that it's against, but it's fun to watch too when someone makes a big comeback. That's something that you didn't expect.
Yeah. Have you played this, Mac?
I have once. I didn't get Godzilla though, but I can imagine that would have really turned the tide for World War II, depending on who controlled him.
Wow, turn the tide.
Blitzkrieg.
My number 55 does not continue the two-player games, unfortunately, even though I do enjoy a lot of two-player games. This one, I don't know if I think the max is 4 players, but I could be wrong on that. This is one we also don't own, when your brother owns. So I've got 2 on this set of 10 that are his games, and this is one that I think I like the most out of all of us. I don't know if you guys like it quite as much, but it is Era Medieval Age.
Ah,
So a roll and write game in a way, but it's deluxified roll and write. You roll and placing these little buildings onto this very mediocre board that I wish was just a little bit better. Could use an upgrade compared to everything else in the game. The dice are very, very nice, very colorful. There's probably my favorite dice in any game now I think about it.
Yeah.
They're pretty cool. And then, yeah, the buildings are pretty solid as well. They've got the unique polyomino shapes, and then they do various different things to kind of help you. There's like some potential negative effects that can happen based on what other people are rolling. And a lot of the time, it's not like it's necessarily intentional because like those will get like locked, so they might just get a certain amount of, I think it's like skulls, that just end up, affecting the other players most of the time in some way. Sometimes it'll affect you depending on the number it is. But I like that it's not like an intentional thing that you can necessarily be going for. At least the times we've played it. Maybe you probably could. You probably could try to manipulate it, but I don't know that I would find as much joy in that because I love the building of things. But obviously with games where you're rolling dice, sometimes you just get unlucky. So you might have like a ton of resources and then you need these hammers to build. I think that's maybe the one thing that could hold it up sometimes for some people. Because if you don't get those hammers, then you just have a ton of resources that you can do nothing with, which is very disappointing. Or else you finally get like 4 or 5 hammers and you have no resources. But I'm shocked this hasn't been on my list
I knew
before.
I'm like,
Are you sure, Pepper?
I looked through the papers about 70 times and I probably still missed it, but I thought for sure this was on your list.
I thought it was too. Wow, I did not. So then I guess that's one other one that's new to this list because that was not one that I thought for sure this had been on my list before. But yeah, this is from the designer Matt Leacock, so designer of Pandemic.
Yeah, could be your favorite Matt Leacock game.
It's true.
I don't see it. Dang.
Yeah, I thought it was on. I wasn't sure. I'm like, it might not have been on all of them, but I thought for sure it would have been on at least once, but maybe not.
Gonna have to go back and watch the footage.
It's good. It deserves to be on it.
Yes.
I think this is a game I champion. We've got a video on that.
Yeah, I think you shot it with my brother. That's right. All right.
Because none of y'all liked it. Disappointed. It's great.
Sorry. All right.
Check out our top 10 Bourbon Burb games as well. This might make an appearance.
Yes. Well, keeping with the medieval theme, my number 54 is brand new to this list, but I think it's just because I forgot it last year. I think partway through filming, I was like, oh no, I forgot this game. And I think I maybe just gave it like a little mention wherever we were at, but I officially put it on the list this year, and that is Crusaders, Thy Will Be Done. Ta-da! Which is super epic, and we just got the expansion for it. I think it was a crossover. Do you have it in your top 70 set?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, woohoo, go us. Like the same game. And it's really fun. It's got that.
I think Pepper had it too, didn't he?
Did you have it?
I have not had it on my list. I have previous years.
Ah, interesting. So it's this really cool, I want to call it rotunda, but I know that's not the word.
The old Wyndham Rotunda.
I know.
Rondell
Yes.
Moncala.
The Rondell Moncala, which I just have so much fun with that. Like, it's so great to move them around and go one here, one here, one here, one here, and kind of get them all stacked up and really start maximizing that rotunda. Gosh darn it. Rondell. Get that rondell going. And then getting your little crusaders out across Europe and claiming different buildings and castles and different things in the space and beating going to war and kind of chasing down and getting all the points. And you mentioned this, it has the points are like a first come first serve, and you only go until you're out of points essentially. So which is super different than most games where it's like first one to 50 victory points wins, but which is it's similar in the way that it works. But it's like once the victory points are gone, the game's over. So you kind of have to try and scrape by to get them sooner rather than later.
I think the only other game we have that I think of that's like it is Mystic Vale also has that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's always a fun thing. A little bit different where it kind of is a race, but also not.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of race I guess I enjoy more because you're going for points than specific 10.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it would have been like 50. At least you can get any number in
Yeah.
this one up to that.
You just want to have the most by the time they're out.
So cool as you see the pile dwindling, and just every time you're gaining points, it's like, oh yes, those are mine. Those are mine.
Yeah, you're like two here. Come on. Like hand them over.
And it's crazy how it will start kind of slow and it feels like you're not really doing anything, and then by those last couple rounds it's like everyone's taking a chunk here, a chunk there, and it just runs out so quickly. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick. My 54. I don't remember if it's been on a list. I guess we'll find out, but I don't know. It might not have ever been on anyone's list. It might have been on mine once, but it's a game that at least looks like it's been around a while, at least our version of it.
Yeah.
It's been around a few years, probably all that we've done this list.
Pictionary?
And it's, what did you say? Yahtzee?
Pictionary?
What was
Pictionary.
that? Oh, Pictionary. Nah, no Pictionary in this house. This is Notre Dame. This one is, it has not been on my list. I don't think it's been on any of our lists ever. And I think we kind of considered possibly calling it. But then once we played it again, and I think we played it in the tournament last year, and just getting those few plays in, it just reminded me how quick and snappy this game is. It's simple. You're playing like you draft 3 cards and you play 2 of them or something like that. And there's only like 9 of those rounds. So it's very few actions. And like Architects of the West Kingdom, your actions just get more and more powerful the more you do them. And that's just so fun and so satisfying. I think there is a foreign version that has a little more color on the board. So I was going to say I like a newer, better looking version, similar to what Castles of Burgundy has gotten. But I guess there are better looking versions out there. We are with this one for now. It's very beige and kind of warped board, so not the best production. And as a shallow gamer who likes things to look nice, it really means a lot that this is still making it.
Yeah, Steffenfeld could have 2 games to Lexified then. But yeah, I like this one quite a bit too. I don't know if you feel the same way about it. I don't think this one ended up making my list, but it was on the short list for me this year because of those plays that we had. And I was like, yeah, this one is pretty solid and it's just quick. I feel like, it's one, if you play it a lot, it's not that long of a game at all.
No, it is a lot faster than I would have remembered when we were getting ready for the tournament last year, playing a few times. So
good choice. And mine, my 54 also is kind of staying with maybe not the greatest looking. It looks like an older game, and they actually did do a reprint version of this, but somehow I feel like my original here looks better than the new version still, which is unfortunate. There's one thing I don't love about this game, and that is paper money. And Pepper just loves paper money, so he loves this game. And this was almost the game I thought he was going to say here. But then I was like, I thought this was on my list before, but it might not have been. And it is Coal Baron.
Yes, this has been on your list. That paper money is amazing. I love it.
Wow, he puts it right there.
It just brings you back to childhood, playing Monopoly. Good memories.
I suppose I'd rather have this one than Monopoly, but yeah, this is a great game. This one actually is on Board Game Arena now. It wasn't until recently, but it's with the new, like the new artwork. But I think this looks much better, in my opinion. And yeah, it's a worker placement style game where you start with a ton of workers. Makes me think a little bit of Architect. Going back to Architects, makes me think of that a little bit, where you start with a bunch of them, and then you're having to place each place would start with one, and then if you wanted to take that same action, you'd have to pay one more than what was there previously. So they get more and more expensive. So you want to take some of the more sought after actions earlier on so that you can get them cheaper. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Uh, Everything about it is pretty simple as well, I think, in this one. And the only thing is, I wish it maybe played a little bit better at two, or the scoring was maybe a little bit more interesting. Because the scoring on this one, you score certain thing, I think like the coal pieces that you have off, and then like the different vehicles that you've used to
Fulfill your contract.
fulfill contracts and stuff. And in a two-player game, that doesn't really kind of go back and forth. Whereas if you add, third or fourth player, then all of a sudden you're kind of competing with everyone in different things, which makes it a little bit more interesting, in my opinion. So, but otherwise, I love everything about this game. It would probably, if it did play great at two players, it probably would be, or have a good chance of being in my top 25, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good one. That is a great one. If I played it more, I think it'd be on my list.
I think there's another one that was a game I championed video.
Oh, wow. This is the champion section right here.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know that the other three that I have left are, because I think the next three for me are all new, brand new games to the list.
All right. Well, we're sticking with the coal theme as we get into my
Coal Baron?
53. It is not Coal Baron, but it is Furnace. Woo! Which I think is a crossover with Jesse from last video. So, everything you said about that one, I totally agree with. It's super fun. The bidding aspect of it is super unique, where you either get the card or you get the rewards. And then I think what does it for me for this game is, if you get the card, what they let you do is rearrange how your furnace works.
Technically, there are two ways to play it. The other way to play it is you keep them in an order.
Sure. Well, we play the version that's less forgiving. Otherwise,
more forgiving.
Yeah, more forgiving. Otherwise, I feel like you would just not be able to play.
I don't think it'd be as enjoyable if we played that way.
Yeah. So I think that is what really does it for me, and I really do enjoy just the simplicity of like changing barrels into whatever, and then changing those into something else, and changing, like to chain it all the way up to get to the maximum points that you can get. So it's really clean and simple. It's a nice table presence without being too big, and it's just there are games that are simple and clean, and then just do the game. That they just do the game, and I feel like that's what Furnace is. So
just do it.
A well-oiled machine.
It's a good pick.
It's a great one. That is a great two-way crossover.
I don't, but this makes it tolerable because either you get the reward or you get the card. So either way, you don't really lose.
I like how she says it's either a reward or the card. Like, the card isn't the reward. You're not bidding for the card.
It can be, but sometimes you don't
that trash card.
want that card. I mean, it might be good, but you might need the resources more. So,
So rewarding, so forgiving. My 53, I'd say it fits right into that. It just does the game. Simple, straight to it. King Domino. Just get the tiles, play them down there, create big groups, multiply, score, win. That's what it's all about. And it's... What was that?
Spiel des Jahres.
Yes, Spiel winner. I got to keep track of those, too. Got so many things going on here. My goodness. This one, I don't think I liked it right away. The first one time I played it, it was just all right. And then played it a couple more times, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I think it was in my top 10. This is pre-history. This is before we made these official lists. was in my top 10 when we had like 30 games, and it's just always been there, always been solid, something easy to break out and play with anyone. If anyone understand, even if you don't understand dominoes or how any of that works, it's still so easy to teach. One of the best kind of bidding and choosing mechanisms out there, I think, where you choose a tile and its value of 4 tiles of what's the better one, worst one, kind of determines what order you pick them in the next one. It's so simple, easy to grasp, and a beautiful game.
I agree. We taught it to so many people our first year with this game. You're right on, Jesse.
It's a great pick. Was this one that we initially learned from Taylor?
Yeah.
Chris?
And we bought it.
And we bought it right after playing.
We
Yeah,
took
this is
that
a great,
copy.
great game. We just stole it from him. Yes, that's exactly what we did. But no, it's a great pick, Pepper. But yeah, then my next one, 53, brand new to the list, as I said, and this one is dealing with cheese. This was one that I almost backed on Kickstarter, Game Fund, whatever it was. And I'm like, it's probably just a gimmick. I'll just pass on it, I guess. And it is Fromage. Played it on Board Game Arena. It's an interesting game where this center piece here, that circle there, is into 4 quadrants, which each kind of have different ways of either taking action. Well, there's some actions in the square piece, or there's kind of ways to score points, depending on which area you're going in. They score a little bit differently, and you get these. It's kind of a worker placement game. You get these little. I guess I don't know what it is. I assume they're plastic, but they might be wood. I'm not sure. Little cheese pieces, and you place them in either the spots in that. Well, I guess it's a triangle in the quadrant, which will give you some sort of benefit depending on which one you're on. I'm doing a terrible job of describing this. I should have Jesse describe it, but you'll have the quadrant that's in front of you. You'll be doing your actions on that if you want to, and you will lay your cheese slice whichever way that fits in the little hole to get said benefit or points. And then once you've decided, yep, I'm done with that one, and everyone does that, then it'll spin the next quadrant, and you'll kind of do the same thing. But then, depending on which way your cheeses are pointing that you used that previous round, if they're pointing back at you, you can take them back as workers. Otherwise, they'll go around to the next one and won't come back to you until they're pointing back at you, which I just find really fun. That was a long way to describe something very simple. I should have had Pepper describe it.
Just an action.
It's just really fun.
Is it a literal wheel of cheese?
Yes.
That's an upgrade. Yes, upgrade.
But that was the part that I
board.
thought was maybe going to just be too gimmicky. Like, I thought, oh, I'm just falling into the trap of too much fun-looking gimmick. But I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it works. It didn't have to spin or do any of that. You could just say it's a cooldown of this many turns for these value actions, but it just makes it so much easier that you can't mistake it. If it's pointing at you, you get it back. Even if they did have to make up this whole gimmick to do that. Probably base the whole theme around it just for that. But yeah, it's a good one. I'm surprised this made your list.
Yeah, I played it. I think when we play it once or twice together, and then I've played it a couple times solo. So, and I don't play many games solo, so I liked it quite a bit.
All right, getting down there. My 52 was 42 last year, so a little bit of a drop here, but that is Hadara.
Oh, a big drop over time. My goodness.
It's on Board Game Arena too.
Is it really? Yeah, they don't even play these games with me. But yeah, so I think I just really when we got it, just really hit the ground running, and then it's kind of we haven't really played it that much. And then I kind of feel like we've fallen into a couple of traps of just kind of going for the same strat over and over again. The cards can kind of change up what comes out, but I think overall you could end up doing kind of the same vibe throughout all your gameplays of it. So I still think it's super unique. I enjoy bringing it out to the table. It's obviously in my top 70 games of all time, so I do highly recommend it. I think it's just a matter of like getting it to the table, getting it set up, and then like playing through it. I think it plays better at a lower player count.
I think it plays well at all because it's simultaneous.
That's true. Yeah, it is simultaneous, which is the big thing for me is fast gameplay. So yeah, I think we just need to get this one back to the table, or I guess I need to play it on BGA or something. Because I have missed this game. I think it's just dropped because there are other games that have kind of superseded. And this one I think was hot when we first got it, and I think it's kind of slotting it now compared to other games. So
Yeah, that's a good one. I probably didn't give it a good enough chance in my few plays of it. But
Yeah, I think it's probably mostly my fault. I was hoping to really, really enjoy this one, with kind of how you'd get the discounts on cards and stuff with, if you kind of go in with green cards, you can get next green card more cheaply. I was hoping to enjoy that aspect a little bit more, and I feel like it didn't quite hit the spot. It wasn't. I still like the game. It just didn't quite give me the excitement that I was hoping to get.
Yeah.
So I think if I had liked it as much as I had hoped to originally, this one probably would be higher on your list because I think you played a lot more.
oh well,
Agreed.
all his fault. My 52 is a classic game. Play it with just a deck of cards. It's been on my list, I think, every year. The only one with this on my list.
Regicide again.
Cribbage. It's a classic game. We grew up playing it. It wouldn't be on my list if I hadn't discovered the solo variant. Just downloaded a random app of card games, and this is one of them, and one of the few that has stuck around. And I just love the solo way to play this game. We have a video where I played a few games of that with my own invented variant of the solo variant in there. But so quick, you just shuffle it once. That's one of my main complaints of regular cribbage. You're shuffling all the time. Solo variant, shuffle it once, you're ready to go. And as you can see in this picture here at the bottom, it gives me an opportunity to play with my Theory 11 playing cards, of which I have about 8 packs.
Lols.
We are not sponsored, but Theory 11, if you are watching this,
I was looking, I was like, is that Iron Man?
yes, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, this is a great pick, great game. It's probably older than all the games on my list, or not. Well, it's older than all the games on my list, and it's the one that I played the longest ago, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Going back, played it as young tot, young
I was thinking
toddler.
tot as well, that very word.
Like you two are related or something.
So, yeah, this is a good pick. I don't think Michaela was ever into it quite as much.
Yeah, I don't mind cribbage. We recently learned to play was it 6-player? 4-player?
No,
I don't know. You didn't like that?
no.
No, I liked
I just love normal 2-player back and forth cribbage.
yeah.
Personally, it's fun if you have bigger groups too, but then it just changes the whole dynamic of the game. Some people aren't getting to put any cards in the crib, so then it takes out any like thought to it, and then and then you only get one card that you're putting in the crib. I don't know. The mitigation is not there as much.
Hmm. Well,
I think.
anytime I play just you in cribbage, I always lose royally. So I'm just not. I
when we were
my
playing a
mom
while,
and dad should have started me at 5, I guess, like you guys.
Yes, but good pick, Pepper. Then we get to my number 52, which, like I said, is another brand new game. This one is not on Board Game Arena. It is one that I received this year. I think it's Salt and Pepper Games, I believe. It's a solo-only game, which is surprising because, like I said, that's the last one. I don't play many games solo. And this one is Conservis, if that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, this one, when it popped up, like I feel like just a week or two before that, I had thought to myself, I don't know why, but maybe I had it in a dream or something that a fishing game could be fun if you're pulling the fish out of a bag, you're catching fish. Because I don't know, liked fishing growing up, and I'm just like, there's not really any fishing themed games that I'm aware of. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong. Maybe there's some good ones out there. But I haven't noticed any on anyone's like top list ever. So I was like, it would be fun to have a one where you're pulling fish out of the bag. And then like I said, it's like 1 or 2 weeks later, I see this pop up, and I'm like, well, I gotta get it now because I thought it, even though it was a solo game, I'm like, well, it's kind of what I was hoping for. And then it added like a element that I obviously in my head didn't think of, but like also trying to like maintain the actual populations of the fish. So like uh, doing that as just a really cool concept, I think, where it's like, well, you want to take these fish to cap or get some victory points and do those types of things that you need to do to actually win the game. But then, you don't want to just totally decimate a whole species because then you also won't win the game because you need to have so much left at the end. So just being able to manage that is a lot of fun. And I thought I had figured out like, oh, you just let them get like these huge populations, but then all of a sudden you get one of the populations just go crazy wild, and you can never pull the other populations at all. And yeah, that changes. That's not great either. So
Mhm.
yeah, this one is one that I've had a lot of fun with.
Yes. I can attest. He was very excited to play this game.
Can't wait to play it. Bag building solo. I'm up for it.
Yeah, all right. All right, our last set here, 51 for this video. And keeping with the dock and fishing theme, kind of, is my 51, which was 32 last year, and that is Port Royal. Woo! So it's just a really
Fishing.
well, they're pirates. So you are push your luck on this game, and we really always have a lot of fun with this. It's always fun to see like who's gonna try and push for more coins or ability to buy, and who's gonna get not lucky and just bust right away, and trying to go for different strategies with swords and getting the little things that help you complete goal cards to get your points up to 12. So we've had a couple of, I think it's just dropped a little bit. We've had a couple of gameplays that haven't serviced it well. I think it was kind of like, I don't know if it was like we just had too many people or if it just was not a good gameplay. There's just a couple of times where I was just like, oh boy, I'm just stuck and there's no way to get back out of this hole. And that was a little bit disappointing, but it is still just a super fun, push your luck, really unique, where it's got two sides to the card. You either use it as a gold medallion or it's a card you flip, and that's just really great. So Port Royal.
I'm not good at that game.
The Alexander Pfister game that we have, that's a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
My 51, as every time my 51 has been on the list, it has been right next to cribbage. It's a similar feel. I just group them together in my head. Can you possibly guess what it is? It's Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
I don't know what happened in this middle year. They're right next to each other. I think cribbage was ahead once. Yahtzee was ahead once. Yahtzee is one ahead here. For some reason in this middle year, it wasn't on the list. I must have totally forgot it, because it's one of the most consistent pair of games to count on being in my list. And I love it. It's probably my most played game of all time. Roll the dice, try to roll and right, trying to get the highest score possible, get those bonus Yahtzees to get just unbelievable scores, adding 100 every time. As you can see, they've done on this little picture of this handheld Yahtzee, which I think is my favorite way to play it, on an old handheld electric Yahtzee game.
Not even Board Game Arena with all those plays you've got on it.
Amazing.
Not even when you were the top ranked player.
No, not for those 2 minutes. Not even that.
It is a lot of fun. I've played it a lot more on Board Game Arena than I ever did as a child growing up or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of fun, and it's something that's been used in more modern games as well, which shows that it holds up, I think.
Yeah.
Good choice. Then the last game in this set for me is another Board Game Arena game, going back to that, brand new to the list. This one has been quite hot for everyone, everywhere, They've been talking about it for days, years, months. In that order, it is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Uh, I think they even have an expansion for it already.
Yeah,
But yeah, this was one. This is my game that I never ever win. I cannot win no matter what I do. I can be leading the whole race the whole time, and I come around that last corner, and it always, even if I get around it, somehow the computer players are, I don't know what they're doing, just fake, fake
it
is what
is.
it is.
It's
It is somehow
ridiculous.
past me, and I end up in like fifth or sixth place, and I'm like, what the heck happened? So it's not even like I get a top two place or anything. I just get passed all at once. I don't know. I still find it really fun trying to manage your hand of trying not to take, get too many heat cards and stuff in your hand where you start clogging it up. Um, and then like we've played the campaign style or whatever. It's not really championship, I think is what it's called, where you do kind of a bunch of races back to back, and then you start adding kind of cool cards. You can add like the weather module and stuff, so you can add a bunch of different things to it to kind of add some fun changes from game to game, and I've really enjoyed all of those things. Hoping to see this one on a future list higher up, but never know. I saw someone was on a losing streak, so
From
that could not.
someone who actually can win the game, has experience holding that trophy. Yeah, we have
Yeah, when
played
I
it
go
all.
into this one playing against Pepper, I just assume that he's going to win and I'm going to lose. So I'm just trying to get second at that point. But
Cool.
one of these times I'll win. So let me know in the comments below how to play Heat and win, because it is the one game. So now that everyone's heard it,
Hmm.
next year at the Not Beverage Board Game Tournament, they're gonna claim or they're gonna say we need to have Heat in this one because that cannot win.
That'll be the one time you win it for me.
Will somehow win, lap everyone, but
Mhm.
no. So yeah, that's the last one on this set. I think it was a pretty good amount of games or new games to me.
Yeah.
Pepper had some classics,
Yeah, I got a lot of classic, comfortable games.
Mhm.
Nice
and Mac
little
had some
mix.
games as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna see if I'm actually even a Stonemeyer or Garfield fan.
They're just waiting for the top judge.
Let us know in the comments below if you
Gonna
think
go.
I really am or not. But we're getting down there. We're already getting down there. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, go check out the giveaway video, see what you got to do for that. But otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.